Welcome everybody to Support Together, Fill Ur Cuppa podcast. I am your host, Mrs. O, and on my right I have Una Leonard.
Hello, hello.
And on my left, I'm taking a big breath here. I'm so honoured for the guest that we have today. It's Holly Hamilton.
Yes, Holly, we are so honoured.
I am so honoured. We've been trying to make this work for a wee while now, haven't we?
You're so welcome here. We're not even in Gorton where we usually are. We are in Belfast.
We are.
We have took the Fill Ur Cuppa.
We're on tour.
On the road. And the day that's in it, we might not get home, but we will. We will.
That's true, yes. We might be here for the night.
Yes. But sure, we're in a hotel. We've got plenty of beds. It'll be grand.
We've got sandwiches. We've got coffees and teas.
Yes.
What else do we need?
We've got, a wee wine would be nice, wouldn't it?
Right.
No wains.
Gin and tonic would be lovely. It's actually National Gin Day, but we can't really talk about it in the podcast, but it is.
All right.
Yes, National Gin Day today, so there's an excuse if you want to
say as if we need one.
You never need an excuse.
You're very welcome here today, Holly.
you.
Are you nervous?
Oh, no, I'm delighted to see you, to be honest. It's
That's
just
good.
been lovely to catch up with you.
I know.
We've done enough talking before the cameras even started rolling.
That's it. It's a
always
long time
the way.
coming. So for anybody that's listening, we were Make a Difference finalists last year for the BBC Awards. Holly was our judge for the Community Group Award, and we actually won the Community Group Award. Support Together.
Very well deserved.
Yes. So that was a massive, massive achievement, and it's history for Support Together, and something that we are so proud of. And then to be able to invite Holly back in again now to be our guest in the podcast and have a conversation. I know you were down in the office and we had done a wee bit of filming for Morning Live, yes?
Yes,
which meant we were famous on the BBC, which was fun. It's normal for you because you're on TV nearly every day of the week, but for us it was massive.
You know, but it's a real responsibility when you're doing something like that, because after I'd read your application, to be honest, I felt it was a responsibility to be able to show everybody across the country what's going on here.
Oh my God, really?
You know, because it's such amazing work that you're doing. And I should add, I was quite pregnant at the time.
You were. So literally weeks, 2-3 weeks after the awards, you give birth?
Because the awards were late September.
26th.
That's right. The 26th of September. My due date was the 30th. Yeah, it was the 30th of September, and Oscar was born on the 1st of October.
Like you were committed to the
I
cause.
was waddling across that stage. Now, the bit you probably don't know is they actually didn't think I was going to come that day.
We didn't think you were
We
there.
didn't think we were going to. That's when we got emotional. Even just
honestly,
seeing you.
Because we were like, oh no, she's not here. We were looking about, oh no, she's not. We haven't seen her. Hasn't seen her all morning. She's not here. And then next thing, welcome Holly on stage, and we were like, oh.
You couldn't miss me. I waddled in through the site, and the organisers were like, we didn't know you were going to be here. We've even got a pre-recorded thing. And they said, do you want to do it? I said, yes, of course I want to do it myself. I'll go on up. So no, I was so honoured to be a part of it. And look, it's not very often when you're an organisation like yourselves that's doing such amazing work that you actually get to
She's getting me.
that you get to show your appreciation.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get that very often.
No.
And you know, it is incredible the work that you do. And you know, we've all been there as mums through pregnancy and all that, you know, to have people like yourselves who have literally show you that support, you know, it is remarkable. So thank you.
Well, I know, I suppose what you didn't realise on the day, we had a wee thing planned where it was going to be us speaking, and everything were grand, and if we won, maybe on the stage and made it organised who was going to speak and all, and then Holly lands on stage and that was us out the window.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't speak. You don't understand the effect that you had on us. Then that went out, and then Una was like, I don't need to speak. I want you to speak.
I want you to speak.
She had to speak because the rest of us couldn't speak.
Couldn't open their mouths. They were busy crying.
And there's no way you would not be speaking.
No, but that was the plan. I says, ladies, I'm handing it over to yous. And sure that, and Kira, Mrs. O, the podcast, she's brilliant interviewing people. I thought, like, yous are the voice of Support Together. And they couldn't speak.
No.
And then then he handed the mic to me, and of course I had to speak.
Yes,
of course, somebody needs to be.
It was a really emotional day. It was the awards themselves and all the categories. Every single person that was nominated was a winner.
Yeah.
And you see the good work that's been doing and been done, and it is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's very proud to watch what's actually going on in this wonderful country of ours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so different because you came in to interview us. And now we're interviewing you.
Yeah.
And that is a completely different for
this
you
rarely
even.
happens, yeah. This is very strange. I don't know what you're going to ask me.
Well, actually, I'm going to go back to your mummy, a mummy too. How did you find moving from? No, I'll go back a bit. Tell me about your experience as a mummy of one.
You know, Finn made me a mummy, and we were, by the time we had him, we were so, I don't want to say we were so desperate to have him, but we wanted it a lot. We really wanted this little baby, and he absolutely has changed our world for the better. You know, there are times it's tough. It's not easy. And funny, I was chatting to somebody yesterday who said they were thinking about having kids. I think I just talked at them a lot. And then I realised, am I sounding like I'm putting you off? But no, it's the best thing in the world. I promise you. But flip me, it's hard.
It's tough, yeah.
It's
just
really
a roller coaster of
but
emotions.
It's just the best. It really is. I love being a mummy. And Finn is just a great little boy. He always has been. He's always been a little bright spark, bright-eyed. He's such a mummy's boy. And let's be honest, they all are. I married one too. But,
okay, did you?
I have married the ultimate mummy's boy, so he can say nothing at all.
Well, now, I am going to say to you there, my number one's always boy, but see my number two boy, he ain't.
Oh, really?
No,
okay, so
he
that's
is
a daddy's boy.
He's a daddy's boy.
Yeah.
So he is. But now my number three is a mummy's girl.
Okay, that's good.
She's my best friend.
We're owed it.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So your experience then is in becoming a mummy and becoming parents, both you and Connor, was good. Have you noticed much of a difference becoming a mummy to number two?
I think, do you know what? In many ways, I would say I was quite anxious when I was pregnant with Finn. And to be honest, there was a lot going on at the time in terms, like my brother and his wife had suffered a loss, and which it does affect you. And I was
reality's there. You know what can go wrong.
That sort of anxiety. I had hoped, when I was expecting Oscar, as he was, that maybe I'd feel a bit more confident while I was pregnant. I didn't. I actually did still feel that same way. I found the experience quite hard. But being a mum a second time, I don't want to say it's easier. Easier is definitely not the word. The word easy should never be in the conversation. I'm talking about being a parent. But I do find it different in that I'm much more relaxed now. I was regimental about naps and feeds and times and making sure everything was perfect with Finn. Whereas this time round, you can't. You've got another one that has to get to school or has to get to swimming or, whatever club he's got to get to, and throw the other one in the car. Hopefully he'll nap on the way. He'll be okay.
Hopefully I haven't forgot him in the house. If it is in the car.
Exactly. I am at that point now. He's 8 months now, and there's a few times, if someone else is able to have, like my mother-in-law has him today, and if he's not in the car with me, it is weird. I do check in the rearview mirror and go, where is he?
Where is he?
Oh, he's okay. Because he's
not on the roof.
But then you have travelled with him as well, so that's you have another layer there where you're back at work and like you have been across the water and done your broadcasting across the water with your baby in tow, and like that's like something I would never the furthest I would have went whenever I had number one, number two, and even number three would have been to Asda.
Yeah, a lot of people said that, but it's like everything with motherhood. Once you do it, it's fine. The thought of things very often can be really daunting. And basically, long story short, I had to. So I had kind of committed to coming back to Sunday Morning Live in January, because you sort of do these things to yourself, and I think in particular women do, where we kind of screw ourselves over a little bit by saying yes to things and then having to deal with that when it does come round. So I had said, no, I'll be fine. He'll be 3 months old. He'll be ready for school by then. He'll be totally independent. That came around very, very quickly, as it does. And I had, as I say, committed to coming back. I thought, well, we'll just go over. So the whole squad went. So we all went over of a Saturday afternoon, me and Connor, and Finn came over for the first one as well, and got him into the studio and things, and basically Connor had to be on set, literally in the wings, because you know what they're like at that age. And I'm nursing, so
me myself,
so he was literally every 2 seconds had to be on me, and I was there. From my own point of view too, going, okay, I need the baby here, because it's been all of 10 minutes and I haven't nursed,
But that's a security blanket also for you, the baby, and you're breastfeeding. You breastfed
both,
both kids.
Still breastfeeding Oscar.
But you were able to do that, Erin. I think it's fantastic that you were allowed to continue that. Yeah. That wasn't stopped. Like, no, you can't do that, Erin. It's totally. Like, we want you, and you bring whatever you need to bring with you, and you bring whoever you need to bring with you, because this is you.
Exactly. And you know, that's something that's been really important to me, particularly around breastfeeding, because it is something with Finn. I fed him, and I did have a little bit of confidence around it, because I know some people, that's a big issue for them, feeding in public, for example.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're covered up and all the rest of it. With Oscar, I feel like it's sort of a mission of mine this time, that I feel like I need to normalise this.
Yeah.
I think breastfeeding has become my entire personality over the past 8 months. I talk to everybody about it.
Yeah.
I'm very open about it. I've got a little pump that I take everywhere with me, and I'll explain to people that's what's in here, that's what that noise is, you know, and whether you're a man, woman, whatever, because it is the most normal thing in the world.
Of course it is, yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people are, you can tell straight away the people who aren't comfortable with it, but people do try to make the effort.
Yes.
But, you know, there was one time I was on one show, and I was chatting away to an editor, and I could just feel his eyes every so often going, you know, down. He kept talking, and there's a little light on the pump. And he's like, sorry, have you still got some of your equipment on you? Because we'd come off air. So he thought I'd come downstairs with a microphone wouldn't even have a light. So he was sort of puzzled going, what's that? And I was like,
And then not wanting to look at your breast, wondering, she's going to think, well,
this
she's going to
was then
report me.
when my response then was, oh, it's my breast pump. He didn't know where to look. But at the same time, that was important to me. That, you know, breast is not a bad word.
No, it is not.
You know, it's totally normal to talk about it.
Uh-huh.
So I do feel it's trying to mention it all the time to make it the most normal thing. It's not been easy at times, and I am thick-skinned with that. The hardest one actually is going through airport security. So Oscar doesn't travel with me now. He's fine. I can leave him for, say, one night, and it's okay. And then I'll be expressing whenever I'm away from him. And every time I go through airport security, I get to have the same conversation. And it goes a little bit like, do you need me to take this out of the bag? They tell me no. And I go, oh, that's not true, because you're going to take it back behind and scan it. And then I get to the other side. They look very perplexed, and they go, where's your baby? He's not here. That's why it's in there, not in the baby. And then they have to go and they have to find the senior management and find out why this woman is allowed to travel without a baby, but with bags of milk. And this goes on and on. Every week, I do this every week. I've said to them, do you want me to take a training class? I'll do it for free.
Exactly.
Can they not just give you, can one person not give you a letter and say she will be travelling over without, but coming home with?
Exactly. So there's so much that, you know, they're not trained, for example, to deal with that, because it's not normal enough, you know, because
the conversations aren't being had. And this is what we do. This is what our podcast is, normalising conversations, getting it out there. Help me to understand so I can be understood. Stop on the shame. As you said, there's no breast is not a bad word.
Exactly.
Get it out there. Speak about it. You know, if they want to go red, they'll go red, but they'll go back down again to white.
Exactly. This is it.
And it isn't, I breastfed Caitlin, my daughter, my first, and I didn't even buy I bought no bottles, no formula. I was breastfeeding.
You were determined. That's
what I was doing. Breast is the best in my right. Now, to me, a fed baby is a fed baby. I learned the hard way. It was not easy, Holly.
No, it's not. It's
you know, it definitely isn't.
No, it isn't.
And I think there's where started my anxiety coming in. And then I felt I wasn't good enough. And a friend of mine, she could have expressed to the cows come home. She was breastfed, not a problem. I struggled getting her latched on. And then, of course, all other stuff came with that. And then the panic of, we need bottles, we need formula, you know, and stuff like that. What advice, how did you, you know, did you struggle the first few weeks? Is there a breakthrough point that you feel?
100%. And for me, and look, I think it's really important to say it does not work for everyone. You're absolutely right. And, you know, this conversation comes up all the time about the shame that women have of every aspect of our lives.
Yes.
And it's
we come out of the womb.
Isn't it? Yeah. And there is no shame in not being able to breastfeed or to choose not to breastfeed. As you say, a fed baby is a fed baby. It's absolutely your choice, and sometimes it's not your choice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and the same thing with, you know, whether it's vaginal birth or C-section, there's so much shame in that for some reason too.
I love that you said vaginal birth.
Because that's what
a normal birth. What the fuck is a normal birth?
There's no birth, by the way. You learn that the hard way.
So you either come out of my vagina or you come out of my stomach via section.
Exactly. That is it.
Not my belly button.
The stork didn't land in the hospital and leave me a baby.
Exactly.
I had this conversation with my wee girl during the week, and she was like, you know, so I come out of your belly, and I said, yeah, but but Jude didn't. And well, where did he come out? And I was like, you're too wee.
Yeah.
He came out of somewhere else, Orla, and I will tell you where that is when you're a wee bit
you don't
older.
need to know that just yet.
But even just the language, it's the language you're using.
Exactly.
So sorry to cut in there, but definitely that's
No, but
good
it is because
language.
we hear, a natural birth and I dissection.
Yeah.
And then straight away that's where mummies come
That's
into
where it
us.
automatically goes.
I was a failure from the beginning, and that's what we do. It's exactly what you said there. We call it vaginal birth as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing natural about giving birth.
There's nothing. I said the amount of times I said, how has the human race survived?
I know.
Yeah.
Because it's women. That's how the human race has survived, because it's women doing it.
Exactly that. So look, this is the thing, that there's so much, judgment around it. Get off social media sometimes, because that can be so problematic and so full of judgment.
And it's completely fake also. It's pumping us fake news and compare leads to despair. You're sat and comparing. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
You don't know that person's story either. They're sharing what they want.
Your way.
Yes.
And for me, with breastfeeding, the breakthrough came because, to be honest, I had a cheerleader, and that came in the form of a friend of mine.
Well, there.
And honestly,
Your breastfeeding body is such.
this was it. Her little one was about 2 years older, so she'd just kind of been through it herself, and she had texted me beforehand and said, "This is going to be tough. It's not easy. I'm here for you. I'm up in the night. I'll text you whenever." So she was texting me through the night when I was up doing those feeds in the first 4 or 5 days, when the baby being Finn was crying and crying. I felt like I wasn't getting enough to him. I felt like he was losing weight, not putting on weight. It was a horrible time. And I remember Connor at that point saying, "Holly, just stop. Give up. Yeah, stop. Because why are you doing this to yourself? I'll go and make a bottle here. Just stop this madness." And my friend was texting me, and she said, "If you can make it past day 5, just get past day 5.
Yeah,
Past day
I
5.
hear you.
And I had that in my head the whole time, and it was day 5. Something just went. And don't get me wrong, it's certainly not. And we're very lucky now because we've got pumps and we've got different things to help us. My mum tells me the horror stories when she was young, and there's no way, I don't know how anybody
you weren't encouraged to express.
No.
I could have expressed, no problem, but you weren't encouraged. Like, Caitlin's now 20, so you weren't encouraged. Then she was getting strawberry milk, if you get what I mean. I started bleeding badly and everything. So I didn't reach the 5 days. So there you go.
That's
and
it.
having that village and that somebody cheerleading you on who's been through the similar path. And if it didn't work for you,
that was it, exactly. I was having that place to work towards. If I got past day 5 and it still wasn't working, there we go. We had a somewhere to
I
get
tried
to
it.
with that.
I did my best.
You the early education. No, somebody told you, you'll struggle the first few days once you get to day 5. Instead of thinking, well, I'm just going to give birth. This baby's going to latch on and it's going to feed, and that's it.
To be honest, that is almost the way it's
That's the way you're expected. This is going to be fine. It's going to be 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I give the first feed in hospital, and I felt like the life was being sucked out of me, and that was
and
enough.
nothing else.
That was all they got, and I remember saying, "I will try," but that was enough for me.
Yeah.
And even having that, your voice, because whenever I went on to have Podrick, and they were encouraging me to breastfeed in the hospital, and I don't know where I got my voice from, and I says, "Look, no, I tried it with Caitlin, it didn't work, and I want to look after my mental well-being."
Exactly.
Because I suffered postnatal, anxiety with my first and depression. So I had a plan ahead not to put myself under that pressure, try, and that's, I think, it's an important message out there that we do have our voice. If you want to breastfeed, get that support in.
Yeah.
There is support out there.
There's so much power that comes with the experience of it being your second time. Like that's what I was
Second
saying
time
about,
easier for you then?
As I say, easy always feels like the wrong word, but I did feel a little bit more powerful.
Yes.
I felt like a little bit more in control because I understood that, what's the worst that can happen in certain situations. If he misses a nap here, it's fine. That would have put me over the edge the first time.
If his poo's green, it's all right.
Everything is okay. If he doesn't eat that today, if he doesn't want to fancy, we're weaning at the minute, which is a different challenge altogether.
Completely.
And again, he's so different to Finn. I remember when we started weaning, Finn just took to it. Whereas I'm pretty sure Oscar just threw it in my face.
Yeah.
And now all he wants to eat is burgers, but that's another issue.
Good man.
Honestly, this child, if I puree the most lovely healthy meal, spend hours working over it.
Second child.
He just picks it up and he throws it over the edge.
Second child.
Yep.
It's going to get worse.
And then somebody handed him a bit of their burger once as a bit of a joke, and he mauled it.
Why?
Lovely mama, give me more.
What have I got?
Well, they do tell us our first, and that's what we say to our mummies, is our demo.
Yeah, yes.
It's the one that you fake it. You know, you fake it till you make it. Such, but also second and the third and the fourth can be your demo because they're bringing in new experiences to you. I think, I suppose, the message out there is, quit us being hard on ourselves.
Yes.
You know, quit trying to be perfect, because what is perfect? Our children want a mommy and daddy, whatever, you know, they want to be looked after and nourished and held and all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah. And
do it your way.
And they just want to be near you. They want your time. You know, they don't
That's
want...
the most precious gift we can give them.
That's it. It's funny, that word perfect, I think that's exactly the conversation I was having with somebody this week who was talking about thinking about having children. And I said, look, that was my biggest struggle, was probably, and it's probably something to do with the industry I work in, where everything does have to be perfect. And we work to deadlines and things have to be done in a certain way. And that doesn't exist in motherhood.
But you have to leave your job at your job. And that's what a lot of us, I was a nursery nurse, so I thought, you know, I looked after other people's children. Yeah. They behaved for me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, they were so good for me. You know, I went home, I was able to sleep, I was able to do everything. You need to park your work at your work.
Exactly.
So completely different. And there's no, you know, where do you learn to be a mommy? It's often through our watching others, female role models, but also, you know, there's no manual. Our child doesn't come out with, you know, a manual.
Yeah, and it doesn't care about your CV one jot.
No, it does not. So your work needs to stay at your work. You know, we would actually work with a lot of professional women. Holly, that's our highest.
Yeah, and a lot of women would exactly say the same as you. The control and the structure is gone. Yeah, and if you're used to that, you feel like you've lost power and everything, you're scrambling and scrambling.
Yeah. I'm failing.
Yeah. And I suppose then for us within Support Together, what we find then is that feeds then anxiety and the big stick of mama guilt's out and you're beating yourself that you're not doing it right and you're not good enough.
And then depression's not far around the corner. We have to be honest, anxiety grinds you down. Exactly. You know, the worry, your antennae is up with the sleeping or the eating or the feeding. Oh my God, they haven't passed any urine. Oh my word, they haven't passed any poo in ages. Do you know, and then that just puts the stir in.
I think it's some of the stresses I went through with Finn, as I say, the first, the things I worried about. And I look back, there were issues, you know, like that word colic, which I hate, which is sort of an umbrella term. Baby's crying. You know, reflux. We went through it all, and at the time, it felt like this is our life now. We have to adapt to this new world of a child with reflux. It lasted a week, you know. It's like, and then it's something else. And again, with the second time this Friday, every time he has something like, here, we'll be fine next week. Be okay, you know.
Yeah, it's milestones. Yeah, and a lot of people mightn't have that support or somebody they can speak to. Yeah. And that's where these baby and toddler groups, mother and baby groups, all of these wonderful stuff that's out there, or the likes of this podcast, or some that people can tune into that maybe find it difficult to go out because they mightn't have the support in the home.
This is Fill Ur Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, and we couldn't bring you today's episode without the support of Shannon Hollywood, behavioural consultant. Shannon supports parents with a compassionate, research-based approach that focuses on connection, emotional safety and co-regulation, not punishment. Her courses and online content are designed to help parents stay calm and confident and connected, especially during challenging moments. And remember to follow Shannon on all her socials.
That's the other problem, that we're very bad at being able to say we're struggling. We don't like to say it.
What's that about?
It's not a failure, yeah. We actually have a very good podcast back to season 1. It's called Expectations versus Reality. And the expectations of what we had going into parenthood and what actually happened. And I suppose it changes then from you're the first time mummy, and then you're a first time mummy to 2 children, and a first time mummy to 3 children. So like we as women need to lower our expectations across the board, not just in parenthood, but like, who sets them out there?
I know. Well, I tell you what, social media does have a role to play here, because we are seeing people who post the best of, and then you see that and you think, well, they look like they are floating through this, you know, having the perfect life, perfect children. They're not showing the reality, because it's
all edited.
It's all edited.
Of course.
And you know, the thing I always felt was, it was like the secret, you know, that whenever I became a parent, I went, why did no one tell me it was like
that? Was exactly my line.
Secret?
Yeah. I went back to my work. I worked for Sure Start. And I remember going back to my work, and as I opened the door, think of all, none of you told me it was going to be like that. But how do you tell? They would
Yeah,
say,
or nobody
you
would
know, my
do it.
friends and all, and what do you... No, but it's just us having conversations, not scaremongering.
No.
No, it's education.
And for me, also preparing people as in, I'm here.
Yes.
See, when this happens, I'm here. You call me any time of the day. You text me, because I knew how that important that was for me when my friend was texting me. Like, I will be there. And do you know what really changed for me after I had Finn? Was just how I approached other people who just had a baby. You know, I would have been so naive before, and oh, look, how's the baby doing? How's he sleeping? All that stuff. Why people always ask these questions? How's he? And now I almost, not that I ignore the baby. How are you?
Oh my God, I so
Mummy,
hear
how
How do
you.
we get that's exactly what we do.
So,
we
yeah.
have to comment on wee
Yes,
Jimmy's
yes,
outfit.
yes.
Now that's important because
your
she
dress
spent a
code,
lot to
well
get him
done.
out. And then straight
Gorgeous.
away, how are you?
Are you okay?
Because we don't feel often held and
no.
heard.
We
That's
actually always
exactly
make
it.
a point of,
Always.
it's how are you, Mummy, but it's how are you,
Are you okay?
Holly? How are you, Una? Naming her. Because she is a person.
Yeah.
Yes, she is a mummy and she's doing a damn good job of it and she's
Yeah.
out of the house. But how are you? And like, I always, and I was a woman that had the child dressed to perfection, and
Yeah,
the
I
dummy
did.
matched the colour of the outfit and
Yeah.
the socks matched, and God forbid if
yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
match, and that was
And
it.
God forbid if nobody commented
Oh,
on
it
it.
had to be, you
Spent a
know.
lot
Like,
of- yeah.
and I always would tell the story of going out and seeing fluffing between Jude's fingers. Now, fluff. Now, if you seen him, he's bogging like, but he would fluff, and I had to leave. I had to leave because I thought if these people, when I was in Sure Start, they had a seen he had fluff in between his fingers,
yeah.
they would think I am neglected him.
I totally get that.
I got up and left the baby time because I had to go home.
Or even if, you know, if he came out and I'd look and he'd have food all over his mouth, now people think
He's
this
fed.
child is...
Our bogies dripping.
Yeah.
Is she not looking after him?
And nobody is thinking it.
No,
But that just shows you that our
that's where your
mindset.
head's going over.
We're
and
magnifying
overboard.
everything. And often like when we would say to Mummy, how are you? And the biggest thing comes out, I'm grand.
Yeah.
I don't stop there.
Yes.
We go, right, is that a good grand or a bad grand?
Yes.
Because you give them a choice, and often then that's when they go, look, had a real bad morning,
Yeah.
you know, and blah, 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 blah. And they talk about that. And then they feel then that they've been heard,
Yeah.
you know, but it's often say, I'm grand, I'm fine. Ask twice. That's what we would say.
that's
Ask
exactly it.
twice.
Yeah.
Is that a good grand? Is that a bad grand?
Yeah.
And you often give them that chance just to let a bit of steam out.
Yeah, exactly.
Your friends or people, I know for me, and you're obviously the same, you soon realise who actually wants to know and who you can reach out to.
Of course you do.
Because we would always say, no, reach out, because, or we would reach in, because sometimes it's hard to reach out.
Phone's heavy. You know, it
Yeah.
can be hard for
Yeah.
people to reach in.
Well, almost impossible.
Yeah.
I feel like, particularly because that, a bit like, you know, the having the fluff or the muck on the face,
Mhm.
by showing any vulnerability, by showing that you're struggling, people might judge you. That's what's in your head.
Yeah.
People think I'm doing this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And even that in itself, so you don't want to admit that you feel like you're failing, because people might think that that's a problem.
Yeah.
And how can we change that narrative?
Talking. I think we have to be so, like, this is why this podcast is so important and what you're doing, because
Yeah.
if you are in the trenches, as I refer to it, and you hear someone else talking like that, it normalizes it, and you feel like, oh, okay, it's not
You
just
too.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last week, whenever I was away and I felt that there, that's all right to feel that there. That's okay.
Yeah,
I don't like
yeah,
to,
that's
you know,
normal.
you don't have to be as hard. I don't have to be as hard on myself.
Exactly.
It's okay. And we're trying to normalize them conversations and get it out there. And what was the line we had, Una, for the Make a Difference awards? Reducing the shame and stigma one conversation at a time.
That's it.
And that's what
Yeah.
it is. I mean, when we first started off Support Together, we wanted to change the world. I was out in a big mission there now, but I realised I can't.
No.
You know, and it is about just having them. That's what we talk about, planting seeds. So today, you coming in is helping plant seeds. It's creating a different conversation than we might have had with the last person we had on the podcast. But what we're doing is bringing honesty to the table and showing the human side.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter what job you are in.
No.
It doesn't matter. None of us have our shit together.
No.
Yeah.
Newsflash, we don't. We're faking it till we make it. But if we can't discuss that
Yeah.
and feel that we're holding it in, it becomes very, very heavy.
And it is, and I think that is, you know, talking about it openly, and like I was saying about breastfeeding or anything else, the more you do talk about it and normalizes it, then people will feel more comfortable saying it. And you know, it doesn't matter if you make other people feel uncomfortable that you're not okay.
Yeah.
You know, you have to talk about it because that can help somebody else further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And as you say, it doesn't matter what job you're doing. I feel like particularly with women, and we, if you are having to go back to work, it's hard. It's really hard. That's an easy adjustment either. And there's not an awful lot of support out there for that. And again, nothing prepares you for that, leaving your baby for the first time and all that. Everything makes you feel like you're doing it wrong. And wrong decision. But you will be okay.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it doesn't feel like that. And it is so tough.
And that's the moment. And I think what we don't do enough of, and when mummies come to us, and they feel they're in the pits of despair. We've been pregnant for 8-9 months. Some people have their babies a wee bit earlier. So we're pregnant at that period of time. But where do we have that conversation? What's that going to look like for me when I go back to work?
Yeah.
How are we going to work together?
Yeah.
Whoever your partner is, whatever that may look like. What we talk about it often is normally we think about the pram, the cot, the nursery. Am I going to breastfeed? Where am I going? Your birth plan. But see the after. The after is your life.
Yeah.
That span is long, and that's what we're trying to encourage with women at antenatal stage and men. Getting that conversation of, let's look at what it's going to be like to have a baby at home. What the difference is going to be.
Yeah.
Where are you getting time for you as an individual? Where are you getting time for you and your partner? And what about you and your family? And it's so important. And a lot of them don't even talk about what's work going to look like. Am I going to go back part-time? Because I loved my job.
Yeah.
You loved your job.
Yeah, that's it.
It's important. That's ignited my soul. So I'm a better version of me.
I'm a better parent, because I go to work. I know
There's
that.
no having them conversations rather than knowing that you're going back.
Yeah.
And that's when people decide of the conversation, sure.
Yeah. It
and resentment hits in.
As you say, you're absolutely right. It's all the talk about, you got your promise. My sister's she's expecting at the minute.
Oh, lovely.
It's her first.
Oh.
I hope you've had the conversation with her.
I've had so many conversations with her. I think I've scared the life out of her, to be honest.
No, she will thank you for that. She will thank you for that there.
What I was saying earlier, the thing that is the most important for me is, look, I'm not going to scare you, but I will be here 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I will be here. If you want to phone me at 2:00 in the morning, whatever you're feeling, I'm here for you. But at the minute, all the conversations are about the pram and, and baby clothes and getting all that side of things in, and what your life is going to look like as a whole. And it sounds like a cliche, your life's going to turn upside down. It is. So it's just preparing people for that.
Exactly. If you're going for a new job or you're building a house, there's massive conversations around that. And the reason why you've built the house, and you will talk about, I'm building a house because it's near that village, and my kids eventually go to that school.
Yeah.
Why are we not discussing that when we're bringing in, our worlds are going to be much different.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be frightening us when we have that conversation.
I don't think that conversation is never had for baby number 1.
Yeah.
In my house, it was had for baby number 2, number 3, because we knew. But if you think back to whenever you were expecting Finn, did you and Connor have that conversation of what was going to happen, how things were going to change? I know me and Eamon didn't. This baby that was all we ever wanted was coming.
Exactly.
And fingers crossed was going to come safe and everything was going to be fantastic. This fairy tale was going to happen. My fairy tale did not happen.
No.
And then I suppose my conversation for baby number 2 was a lot different. Shit, what happens if we go back down the route of postnatal? And we didn't plan
who
to go that
fed you
road.
the fairy tale? Who feeds the fairy tale?
Yeah.
And then my conversation for baby number 3 was different again.
Brilliant. They're brilliant. The marketing is excellent.
There's a lot of talk on social media at the minute, and it's about anxious millennials, which is literally my wheelhouse. And it's so true that the marketing companies are so clever of what they could put out there to make us feel like we need this item.
Exactly.
And incredibly expensive. See the price of a fancy high chair.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, because they make you feel like you need it.
Exactly. So what's wrong with a second-hand pram?
Yeah.
What's wrong with a hand-me-down cot? Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely bonkers. But there's, this is the thing. This picture is dangerous to paint. That there's a so-called, perfect version of motherhood and what that looks like, because you have to just be able to be flexible. There has to be
an honest picture.
And we talk about planning. Whatever plan you make might fall on its head. Like you're talking about what conversations Connor and I had beforehand. What it looks like now looks nothing like what the plan was.
Oh, of course.
This was not the plan.
Your plan's it.
But
you really don't
you're still living. Everything's still going.
That's it, exactly. This is it. very much you have to just go with the flow
Yes.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. You have to find your feet and let it go.
Yeah.
Things will settle down. Whenever the children are a bit older, or whenever baby number 2 or 3 or 4 comes along, things, they have like that settling period where you're exposed, like if the charity foundations, and then you're growing up, right?
Growing pains,
You have a
yeah.
settling period, and it will happen. But you can't fix that ending. You don't know,
Yes.
because nobody has that control,
And that's
No.
okay.
and that's fine.
100.
And that's the important
We'll
thing
have a
to
wee
remember.
plan, maybe. We'll look
Yeah.
at maybe
Aye.
what...
Sure, it starts in day one, your birth plan.
Exactly.
What's your birth plan? Throw that thing out
here.
the window.
My birth plan is
Totally.
to give birth,
Yeah.
and whatever happens.
Yeah.
But even that in itself, the idea that women are told to create a birth plan, I don't know.
But if you
anybody
even
who's
think,
birth plan.
actually, it starts when I want to have a baby. Because
Yeah,
the plan starts there,
That's so
because
true.
you might want to have a baby and you might not get pregnant.
Yeah.
You might
And-
want
yeah.
you might want to get pregnant
Yeah.
and end up pregnant.
Yeah.
This is where you have no control.
Clues are there, aren't
Yes,
they?
it's there. But who's having that conversation?
Yeah.
It needs to be out there. Like I'm sure there's mummies listening that have wanted a baby for so long and it's not happening, or mummies that actually didn't want to get pregnant, was the last thing in their mind,
Yeah.
and then there's a surprise pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's it's not, we have no control. Yes, you have a certain amount of control. You can go on the birth control and all the rest of it, right? But what's meant to happen happens.
Yeah, but even that mummy that maybe went through IVF journey, found that she couldn't have a baby, and then the next of it, a year or two down the line, she finds herself pregnant. She's already shut her world off to have a baby. I'm not going to have a baby. We've accepted that. Our lives are going to be our career. It's going to be A, B, and C. She then falls pregnant. The world outside her and him go, wow, amazing, fantastic.
Yes.
I'm sure you're overjoyed. As her and him are sitting going, oh my God, like we didn't, no,
This wasn't
this
planned.
wasn't our plan.
planned.
You know, we accepted we couldn't have.
Yeah.
There is the woman, there is the male and female or whatever is going to end up sitting with anxiety straight away.
Yeah.
How could they
This wasn't
not?
the plan.
It wasn't.
And I'm not feeling the way I'm meant to be feeling.
Yes.
And
I have to
I'm
pretend I'm
terrible.
happy, but I'm not. my stomach's turning because I don't know. I don't know if this is what I wanted.
Do you know what that actually reminds me of something else that was a real learning curve for me when I had Finn. I did get that whole, like, he came out and I was just in love. I love this wee baby more than anything in the world. And while I was pregnant, I was playing on a hockey team at that time, and there was another girl pregnant at the same time. We were due only a couple of weeks apart. And so I had mine, and then she had her wee baby, and we were on the WhatsApp group, and I was talking about this most amazing feeling that you have. I think there was another girl pregnant too, and I was going on about how amazing this was, this moment I met my little boy, and the love I felt. And she had to stop me in my tracks and correct me, and she said, I did not have that. It does not happen for everybody, and again, that's okay. She said, I didn't have that bond straight away. I struggled in those early days. Now we're okay, but just, and I put my hands up. That was such a lesson to me of like that again. That's
not every-
That's your
but that's
journey.
your
That's
experience,
exactly,
Holly.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
allowed to say that. But also,
no,
isn't it
but also
wonderful
I-
that she
Yes.
felt
Yeah.
she could say that? That's what
Totally.
there's the
I
conversation.
appreciated it. Exactly. I wasn't going, oh, how,
Oh, you're
dare
terrible.
you?
What?
I went, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And
And
I-
because she was warning someone else.
Yes.
That's okay. Because I was,
But
I
then
was selling something that might not exist.
But it'll make you mindful
It does exist.
for your sister.
Exactly.
Turn around and say, when
Exactly.
he came out, I was on top of the world. When Jude came out, I was just grateful that he was fucking out, and that was
Exactly.
it.
Yes.
And he was born,
That's
yeah.
okay.
Yes, and
This
then
is
that
it.
was. But then it comes. Love grows.
Yeah.
This is what we're trying to get, that message out, that love grows.
Yeah.
And the men feel that too. Like they have this bundle in their arm and they go, this is mine. Like, because the baby's in we're producing this baby, our whole body. We know we're pregnant. The men know to look at us and whatever we're all going through. But it takes them a while to catch up. So often they're not getting that. And who sells that story to us also? But what you have said there, but I admire the girl, that lady turned around and said that to you.
Oh, I was
Because that's
completely-
amazing. You have
Absolutely.
a right
Yep.
to share your feelings because you did feel that.
Yeah.
Never feel ashamed to say that
No,
you.
no, completely.
But
Yeah, it's
also
important to
her, there's
recognise, yeah.
that's priceless.
brilliant.
Exactly, and that's
Yeah.
the way it should be. That you feel, that's okay.
But you took it the right way.
No, I was absolutely you know, that was, and it was just I was in that bubble at that time too.
Yeah.
So I was
Isn't
just
that
going, "Oh,
wonderful?"
but, you know, I just felt like high-fiving her from across the water going,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. And fair play to you for speaking out, because I could have sold something that didn't exist for this other mum to be that, you know, she would have been questioning herself going, why did I not feel this way? But actually her now knowing that someone else she knows went through that, it means the world.
So you had said way back at the start that you it was different. Pregnancy number 2 was different for you because you had still had but was it the fear of knowing that you had Finn at home?
Yes.
And if something went wrong?
It's weird, isn't it? It's again, with Finn, as I say, there was so much going on at the time with him. I felt like I would be letting everybody down if something went wrong. Not today.
That's it.
And we'll start
Today
again.
is
Only us.
not
We're
the
not
day
stopping.
for
We're
a
keep
fire
going.
alarm.
A fire alarm in the hotel.
So-
We are not going anywhere.
You want to ask that again? Then? Okay.
I will just carry on. So you had said there at the start, or way back at the start, that for pregnancy number 2, you had the feelings of the fear and anxiety and all. And was that, do you think, because you had Finn at home that you were feared what could happen, what could go wrong, because you had that, he was yours and you had a life to look after as well as the one that was in your belly?
Yeah, a little bit. And I so with Finn, I felt like I'd be letting everybody down if anything went wrong, which is crazy to look back on, because what would have done to me? I mean, but you know, I thought, how would my mother cope with this if anything went wrong? And then this time, all I could think about was, what would I say to Finn? How would I even explain that? Am I going to give him lifelong trauma? It's all these concerns I had then. So I thought I would feel better about it, but I really didn't. And looking back on both now, like, it was anxiety. And I really hoped I wouldn't get it with Oscar. I really thought I'd feel better, but no, I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would be, you know, I thought, you always think it's going to get better. So when he starts kicking, I'll be okay. But then if he doesn't kick for 4 hours, then you're sitting going. And you know, I remember when Finn was born, I was only about a matter of days before his due date. No, it was after he was late, so it was about we were booked in to go into the hospital in a few days for an induction, and I woke up in the middle of the night in just a panic, in an absolute panic that something was wrong. Just no reason, nothing in particular. Couldn't feel any movement. I mean, all this was in my head. He was having a nap. He was fine. So went into the hospital in the middle of the night, literally to get checked out. And at that point, they were like, "Well, you're due in a day and a half, so you might as well just stay here." Good. But even that's how worked up I was at that point.
But your antennae was up. You're a lioness. You're protecting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're protectors.
Yeah.
So was this with Finn or with Oscar?
With Finn, and then with Oscar this time, I just felt, Connor, I remember saying a couple of times, I thought you wouldn't be as anxious because I kept thinking things and saying things and I was worried all the time. And he said, this is the same way you were with Finn. Could you not remember? Everything was fine. Everything's fine.
He was able to reassure you.
Yes, exactly. Which was great. And what I did have was an amazing midwife this time around too. She was incredible. My midwife, I was pregnant with Finn in England. And it was during COVID. So my midwife,
that's a completely different experience.
It was
and
totally
away from home.
Away from home.
You weren't near home either.
I was on my own for most of it too.
And you're actually bringing them feelings are still in you whenever
you
were pregnant again with your second.
Exactly.
Of course it would be.
I had a different midwife every time I went.
Sure,
the whole thing. And I went to a primary school for my checkups.
Totally.
Here, Stevie said to me straight away from home, and then add COVID into that.
Yeah. And going on your own, with a mask and a hot stuffy. All my memories are so negative of every checkup. With Oscar, it was lovely. I went to see the midwife.
Yes.
She told me to come on a Thursday because on a Thursday she'd have access to the machine and she could have a wee look, and just things like that.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Exactly. And it's just that bit of reassurance all the time. It was a much nicer experience. I still had that anxiety, but and you guys talked about it before, but I had the toolkit to deal with it.
Yes.
And I was able to kind of use some of that to get me through it. It was a horrible experience. Not horrible. I mean, I love being pregnant, but it was.
See the way straight away you've corrected yourself.
Yeah,
no, but this is what we do.
Yeah.
And I've done it. It was horrible.
It was horrible to you.
It was horrible, yeah.
Yes, you were bringing life into this world.
Happy to be pregnant.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
But your experience, but also you're then bringing your pregnancy and your experience from your first into your second. You're nearly carrying your first child into the second experience.
Because it's almost like, and I've seen this again, people talk about this, you daren't say anything negative about being pregnant because you should be grateful.
Yep.
to be pregnant.
We are
That is-
grateful,
but
okay?
that's the message that's in your head. So you
I
don't
get
say
you.
anything bad about it because people would feel. And I think because I do know a lot of people who have struggled to get pregnant and it's been a really hard time for them, I'm so respectful of that I never wanted to complain.
Yeah.
And that's
So you're allowed to complain?
We have a right. We have a right.
They're your feelings
Yeah,
and
they're
you're
your
allowed to have
feelings and
them.
belong to you. You're not going out there and shouting it to the world,
Yeah.
but we have a right to allow that.
Yeah.
We
That's
have to, because we're boys. And then that become where we feed the anxiety, our antennae goes up higher, everything's danger, we're afraid of everything.
yeah.
Because we haven't allowed ourselves to be heard or held by people close to us.
I love that you had your toolkit,
Love it.
but I think the fact that you said you were able to communicate with Connor was massive.
Yeah.
Because you were able to voice out your I'm going to get emotional. I don't even know why. You're able to voice out your concerns. Communication is huge, and we tell our mummies that all the time.
It's a big word
You
for a
need to be
reason.
able to
So
speak.
important.
Yes.
And if you don't, it's not to the masses. If you have one person that you can speak to, that they will reassure you and point you in the right direction,
And-
that's what you need.
And even I find that hard to admit to him
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah.
So
I
I
hear
do
you.
remember I would bottle a lot of it up for some reason. I didn't want to tell him where my head was at that point. And I remember at one point, because as you get teary, that reminded me of it, literally waiting until I got to that point.
So you were ready to the
And I
the
had to
bottle
say,
was about to explode.
Here's where my head's at. Here are the thoughts that I've had. Here are the intrusive thoughts that are going through my head every day, every hour of every day. You know, you don't have that maybe the way I do, and I'm living with that at the minute. So if I do get a bit emotional, this is where my head's at. And I remember him saying, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I went, "Well, because it won't help." But it did. It does help.
Of course,
You know.
because
Let's
you're involving him.
Yeah.
So you are a partnership.
Yeah.
You know, you're
But
bringing.
I felt I would just carry that. That's
Was
my problem.
was there-
It's a woman thing.
That's
Carry it
fair.
my
Totally
shoulders.
hear you.
Big shoulders.
I didn't say nothing either, and I thought sure it's expected of me to know all. I mean, I never brought a child into this world.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? So that as curious as the communication.
Join us next week for part 2 of Fill Ur Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, hosted by me, Mrs. O, Ciara O'Gowan, and the S2 team. And we couldn't bring you today's episode without the support of Shannon Hollywood, behavioural consultant. And produced by 9874 Creative.